What's up, YouTube? It has been quite a while. I really don't know how to start this video, but I come bearing good news for a change, it feels like. While yes, I'm still extremely exhausted like I am in all of my videos because I worked myself into the ground, right now I'm really excited about everything that's going on. Some of you may have seen the Instagram or Facebook post that I did about a week ago. Maybe by the time this gets out, a little over a week ago. But I'm moving again for the, what is it, the 7th time in the last 5 years or something crazy like that. Something like that. But this move is exciting to me, unlike the majority of the last several moves, and having to start over each time. This one is I don't really know if this one is anything, but this one is for my church, for my community up in Crystal River, Florida. I started going to the Calvary Chapel, Crystal River, a year ago in April. And I'm extremely picky when it comes to churches, like extremely picky. And this one is amazing. Pastor Steven has become a really close friend of mine. Pastor Corey, Sean, everybody up at the church, they're my people. And when you find your people and you find your church family, you don't want to be living 55 minutes away. And so I'm making the move up there and I'm starting over, saying goodbye to this garden. I've loved it. It's done a lot of good. It looks amazing, even though, like, look at this. All season long, I haven't weeded once. There is some weeds in here. This is the most weedy garden, like, aside from last fall, because the fall got really weedy. But for not being weeded all season, this is pretty impressive. Anyways, the garden served me well. It was a great first garden in Florida, and now I am ready to scale up and start over again. But this time, it's not just for the market, and it's not just for me. The church I go to has a UTurn for Christ program, which is a program that takes in recovering alcoholics and drug addicts and people like that. Anybody can join, really. And honestly, I think it'd be good for everybody to go through the UTurn program. But they take in these guys and they house them and they get them back on their feet. Sorry, the sun is really bad. They get them back on their feet. I think it's an 8 to 9 month program, and they just build them up. It's like Christian boot camp, and they spend a ton of time in the Word, and the results and the impact, like, you can visibly see in the guys that come into the program is just incredible. Being there for the last year, like, it's almost like each week you can see these guys just change and grow, and it's amazing. And what's really close to my heart is, like, I didn't start going to this church until I met a really good friend of mine. His name's Kyle. I met him literally the week I decided to go to this church. He was struggling with some addiction problems when I met him, and I ended up spending the weekend with him and kind of just, like, pouring out into him and, like, kind of leading him back to God that weekend. And it was a very emotional weekend, and by the end of it, I was like, you know what, like, God, I need to be fed. I haven't been to a church in a while. And I had 3 people at the farmer's market over the course of a couple months last year telling me, oh, I think you should really go to this church up in Crystal River. And I'm like, no, I'm not driving 50 minutes to church every week, let alone twice a week. And sure enough, by the third time, I was like, all right, God, in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, I guess. And then I kind of like still pushed it to the side because I had so much going on. Well, then I meet Kyle, and I felt like I needed to be fed. So he actually flew back home to Nebraska. He was only here for a few days. And he flew home, and I was hungry. And so I went to the church, which was like I think it was the day after he flew home. Dropped him off at the airport. He was crying. He was like, dude, I appreciate you so much. And it was amazing. And then I was upset. I was like, dang, I wish I said more to him before he left. So I go to this church the next day, and I sit down. Pastor Steven walks over. I don't know who he is. And I'm sitting like the second row or whatever. He walks over and he's like, you're Nick, right? I'm Pastor Steven. I'm a big fan. And I'm like, what? Like, that's one, weird, and two, okay, that's crazy. And so we start talking, and it was just really funny. His whole family watches my videos, and it was just awesome. So it felt good being at this church from the beginning, and not just because somebody knew me, but like you could feel God's presence there. And so after the sermon, then this other guy walks up to me, and it's just so funny because like it's the church that I'm meant to be at. And so this other guy walks up to me, and his name's Dennis. He's from Kenya. And he walks up with his phone, and he's like, is this you, with a picture of me from like a screenshot of a video? I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah. And so then he's like, oh, that's awesome. My family, we started a farm and a garden because of your videos in Kenya, and like we do it just like you and all this stuff. And it's been awesome. So I mean, honestly, after that day, I really haven't missed a service. And I go twice a week, driving 55 minutes north of the farm, and then I do a farmer's market a half hour south of the farm right now. And just for those 3 trips, I spend 100 to 120 a week on fuel, and that's the only place I go. I'm an introvert. I don't go out. I don't do anything but farm, church, and market. And anyways, long story short, I can go on tangents with talking about this stuff. I started a garden at the church for the UTurn guys. They loved it. And when I started knowing and just really feeling called to move to Florida, or not move to Florida, Crystal River, Florida, I started talking about it with people there, and they all thought it would be amazing. And honestly, there's so much. This could be like a hour-long video. I don't want to do that to you. But anyways, when was it? The end of December, I think it was. I turned Growing Back to Eden into a legal ministry. If you've been following on Instagram and Facebook, you'll know a lot of that. I don't really think I mentioned it. I may have, I don't remember. In the last video, it was 2 months ago, I think now. I haven't really had time to make another video. But Growing Back to Eden is a ministry now, and like the meaning behind that has grown stronger and stronger since it was established into a ministry. And honestly, God has been doing so much with it. And since my friend got the property, and since I've started the process of starting the farm there, I've put a little over $7,000 into it so far. And like the last couple of years have been financially tough for me. There's been a ton of ginormous expenses. So my finances are thin. There's a hair on my hat, sorry. And so starting over is financially stressful, as it always is, but it's a little more so now. Heck, I mean, I live in a tent, so that doesn't say something. Anyways, I'm starting over. It's been a slow process. So the whole reason of talking about all of this is because the ministry side of things with this farm are pretty awesome. The UTurn guys at the church will be a big part of the farm. Like I said in my Instagram and Facebook post, like, God put us in the garden in the beginning for a reason, and it's in the garden that we can really like find connection with him. And like, I mean, you can talk to God anywhere at any time. Like, he's always there, he's always listening. But for me, in my walk with God, I know that when I'm in the garden and I'm like just at peace there with my hands in the dirt, let this truck go by, as I'm working and stewarding the land and doing what I'm called to do, it's just where I've always been able to like really have really good heart-to-heart conversations with God, if that makes sense. And I want to create a place like that for these UTurn guys to be able to come out and spend time with their hands in the dirt, growing their microbiome, growing their faith with God, just being able to plant a seed and watch it grow is one of the coolest things I think there is anyways. Hold on one second. Willow, get out of there. So providing that opportunity for them is a big part of all of this. But then another big part is like they're all in their own recovery process. And from a health standpoint, as someone who turns, well, there's two standpoints here. From a health standpoint, like, their bodies aren't as healthy as they should be or could be. And coming off of these addictions, they should be on really healthy food and eating nutrient-dense food and clean food, and giving them the opportunity to learn how to grow it and sustain themselves and be more self-sufficient while cleaning their diet up from eating the literal fruits of their labor. It's just, it's important to me. That's where I feel like I fit into this church, and that's my purpose there. And I think that alone is amazing. But then for me, like, with my experience with Kyle and a few of my other really close friends that I've made in the past, as a regenerative farmer, I look for degraded land, and it's my calling, my purpose to assist however I can in regenerating that land. And like, the soil in my garden is the same as the soil in the hearts of my friends and me and everybody, all you guys. So it brings the whole regenerative farmer to a whole deeper meaning, and it's just, it's amazing. Like, the stuff I've seen God do through the ministry, even before it was a legal ministry, has been amazing. And it's encouraging, and to say I'm excited about this next step, following God and growing the farm, the ministry, all of it, would be an understatement. Like, I don't need to read the dictionary, but I can't really think of any like bigger, better words other than extremely excited, and like, just can't wait to get it started, honestly. It's already amazing what God's doing with it, and I know that he's going to do so much more. So anyways, I told you guys in the post, it's already 15 minutes in, I told you guys in the post on Instagram and Facebook that I would mention some of the things God's doing, and like how he's like confirmed that this is what's supposed to happen. I could make another 20-minute video just on that, but just real quick, I guess I'll touch on some of them. I guess, let's see. The first one was getting the farm. When my friend got the farm, I prayed. I was like, God, like, if this one is the right place for me to do this at, then I'm trusting that you're going to let it happen. And for a while, like with my friend and everything, we didn't know if it was going to go through, if he was going to actually be able to get the farm. It was a very stressful process for him and for me, because I was stressed for him. He's a good friend of mine. I was also stressing about, like, am I going to move there? Am I going to do this? Like, what's the plan, God, kind of thing. And it happened. That's confirmation number one. As things started to progress with the farm and lining up materials, like in the beginning I was really stressing, like it was all on me kind of feeling, like how am I gonna find compost, how am I gonna find wood chips, how am I gonna find blah 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 blah, how am I gonna get the money to do all this. That's been a big one. And God always lets me go through those processes where he lets me, he's like, fine, you want to do it, I'll let you try. So for months I was looking for wood chips, for months I was looking for compost, and then all of a sudden I got connections with the compost guy that you guys saw a video of, and he hooked me up. He's giving me an amazing deal for the ministry, and like, because the video I did apparently really helped him, which is amazing. So like, God's been providing this compost, the wood chip thing. For months I was looking for wood chips, called everybody, called local arborists, nobody has chippers, called local compost and wood chip and like mulch suppliers, nobody has arborist wood chips, nobody knows where to get them. Called, or it was like talking in church, nobody knows. Everybody was asking me, where do I find wood chips so I can do a garden? I'm like, beats me. So a couple weeks ago I was done. I gave up. And I was like, God, I was literally driving home from Crystal River. It was a Monday morning. I was coming here to harvest for market on Tuesday. And I was stressed. I was overwhelmed. And I was like, God, I'm done with looking for wood chips. Like, I know you're going to provide them. So I'm trusting that. And I'm not going to look anymore. I can't. I need to move on. So it's in your hands. And I feel like he kind of like laughed at me. He was like, well, it's about time. Because 3 hours later, my friend Nick, the guy that bought the property, 3 hours later, literally, he calls me and he's like, well, I think it's Duke Energy came by and told him they're going to be chipping on the same road that we're on. And he asked them, he was like, well, can I get the wood chips from it? And they're like, oh yeah, sure. And he like gave him my information, told him about what I'm going to be doing there. And the guy looks me up, and like, he calls me the next day and he goes, so I'm really impressed with what you're doing and like the whole ministry thing. And he's like, when you guys are up and running, like, can I come out and volunteer? And I'm like, heck yeah, like, of course, I could use all the help I could get. And so then he was like, well, you just let me know, because you'll have like unlimited wood chips. Whenever you say stop, we'll stop. And I'll let the guys know, because this is the guy that's like in charge of everything or something. And I'm like, well, you probably won't ever get that call, but it's good to know that I have control of telling you to stop bringing me wood chips. And so 3 hours after giving it to God, he's providing unlimited wood chips. Like, I mean, these are all kind of like dorky, kind of funny confirmations, but I feel like in my life anyways, that's how God works. And he's provided for so much throughout this whole thing. And as stressful as it has been financially, like, markets have sucked this season. it seems like every Tuesday the weather is just crappy and the rest of the week it's nice. I was talking to other vendors this week about that, and we're just all sitting there like, this really sucks, but it's kind of comical. But like, even though things have sucked in that sense, like, there's been just enough to keep me afloat financially, so I'm not going under, and then so there's enough left over to put towards the farm. And like I said, I'm about $7 grand into it, and there's quite a bit to go. But market season is coming to an end, and I'm trying to figure out what I can do work-wise through the summer that allows me to have the time to start a farm on my own. Not really on my own. I'll have the UTurn guys, and I'm sure there's going to be people wanting to volunteer and help. But I'll be there 24/7, and I don't stop working. Like I said, I run myself into the ground half the time. So starting a farm takes a ton of time and a ton of commitment, and I need to financially figure out how I can provide for that. And now, being a ministry, I've had multiple people tell me I keep putting my thumb over the camera. I have had multiple people tell me that I need to open the ministry up to allow others to pour into it and to contribute to it, because if not all of you are in Florida, obviously, and if you believe in the work that we're going to be doing here, and just believe in the work that God's doing through us with the farm and everything, and you want to support but can't physically be here, that's a way that you can help. And so after having several people tell me that I need to just do it, because I was planning on paying for everything myself. I've never liked having my hand out, and for a little bit early on in this whole thing, I kind of felt like by asking for donations for the farm and ministry that I was having my hand out. But like I said, it's not really for me. It's for the bigger picture. This farm is going to do so much for the community. Like, we're going to start a farmer's market, feed the UTurn guys at the church, and the church is actually opening a juice bar. And it's going to be a juice bar and a Christian library right on Main Street in downtown Crystal River. And I'll be supplying the juice bar and probably keeping it stocked with fresh produce and all kinds of stuff. So the community is going to be really impacted by this farm, and both feeding people with the best food and spiritual food are the two things that are the closest to my heart. And it's, like I said, it's exciting. And if you would like to support, if you can support, pray about it. And there will be a link in the description. It's through Square right now. I'll probably set up like a Patreon or whatever. I don't really know any of that kind of stuff. As you guys know, or well aware, I am like a like, I don't even know what to call them. I'm pretty ignorant when it comes to technology and all that. So we'll just leave it at that. I suck at that. It's not my field. This is. So if you would like to donate, for now, that's how you can contribute to the farm and the growing of the ministry. I'm sure things will change as they go. So I'll keep you guys updated with that. But so far, there has been, how many? I think 22 people as of today that have donated. We've raised almost, I guess, just under $2,000 so far, and that's been extremely helpful. I've already ordered, I've used it already to order the irrigation supplies, some of it anyways. So I'm actually going to pick that up this afternoon, which is exciting. And then probably in a week or two, I'll be breaking ground up north. We're 25 minutes into this video already. Oops. So maybe I'll do a whole separate video at the new property. We'll just kind of figure that out as we go. But if you don't see the new property in this video, definitely stay tuned. It's coming, and I can't wait for it. So huge thank you again to everybody that has donated. The messages I've received, like the comments on all the posts, like it's amazing. I'm encouraged, I'm excited, and I'm really looking forward to bringing all of you guys along for the ride. So anyways, God bless, happy gardening. I didn't really give you a garden update on everything. We'll just 5 minutes, okay? I'm holding a low clap. Got all these starts. Most of these are actually going to be sold at market. I'm doing a bunch of veggie starts. That's another way of raising money for the ministry. I got a bunch more to start today, but these cucumbers and tomatoes I'm planning on planting up at the new property. Got to do it like a last minute summer garden. I'm just going to till up a plot, put compost down, and probably weed mat, plant everything in the weed mat, see how it does. I don't know, wasn't really planning on that, but that's what we're doing now. So potting all these tomatoes up. These are all tomatoes in 128 cell trays. They're getting potted up to 2-inch pots today. All this salad mix is going to be planted out here. This is probably the last of the seed trays for this garden. Everything else is just going to be phased out. Once it's done, it's done. All this asparagus getting planted at the new property. All my asparagus here, which looks great, by the way. Got a couple minutes left before it's half-hour video. There's some spears that are like the size of my pinky, well, maybe a little smaller than my pinky, but that's pretty cool for only being a year old. But everything else, it's doing good. So I'll leave it at that. Still need to do a tent video. I'll probably wait until I'm really set up in Crystal River. Everything's kind of just discombobulated right now for me, so I'd rather just wait. So anyways, God bless, happy gardening, and if you feel called to donate, please do. It's definitely going to a good cause, and you're going to be able to see the works that happen with those funds. So it's exciting. Hopefully I'll get some U-turn guys on a video once things start progressing. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. I appreciate you all. All of your support it means the world. So thank you, and I'll catch you in the next one.